Sanam aloha, everyone. Welcome to the meditation live. Okay. Where do I want to start? Sanam aloha, everyone. Oops. Start with that. Turn that off. Okay. Before I get into the meditation part, I just want to talk a little bit about the ego. And you can always skip past this. I'll timestamp it on the bottom. And it's a good idea to practice meditations for 40 days. It takes 40 days to create a habit. So you'll have the full effect. 40, you can do 40 days, 90 days, 120 days, but 40 days is plenty. Okay. Let's see. And Zodiac. There we go. There we go. So have you been following my channel? I refer to, oops, let's get rid of this. For now, that's for later. The ego is worm tongue. So this is from the Lord of the Rings, if people don't know that. And it's a good way to put form to the ego. And the ego is actually one of the biggest obstacles right now to God, right? God or divinity and the ego, they're the complete opposite. You could see the ego is like edging God out. It could stand for that too. So this is the voice in our head that we think is us, and it's been with us since we were children. It's been with us so long that we believe that it's us, and it's not. It's a foreign installation, you could call it. Carlos Castaneda calls it that, a foreign installation, the ego. And it's really, I stress this in my videos about this is really a time of a soul harvest. We're in this deep, deep spiritual test as a humanity now. So it's like walking a razor's edge right now. You have to be so alert and so in tune with your higher self, right? So that you don't get trapped. And the trap is to get locked into fear, right? So you have to remember that you're a tourist here on planet Earth. You've come as a soul, you've incarnated to have your human experiences, but to grow and evolve as a soul. And so there's all these traps that can keep you here. We're not supposed to be here forever and ever and ever, right, on planet Earth. And this is worm tongue. The ego is the one that can really get you in a trap. So we've got worm tongue. Everybody's got a worm tongue in their head, right? An ego in their head. But then there's the greater worm tongue, and that's coming through the mainstream news and the outside authorities, all of that, right? So you're hearing that ego speaking from all directions, right? So this is not the guide you want to be listening to right now. The walk of razor's edge is to listen to your higher self at all times and not get trapped. And the trap is to lower in frequency and go into the frequency of fear. And then you start making really, really bad decisions. And this is what our ancestors did, right? Our ancestors made a lot of bad choices from fear. This is why we're seeing the old stories, the deja vu, right? If you look out in the world, it's like deja vu, like 1930s Germany, right? Russia, all these old stories are coming up. And why? So we can make different choices than our ancestors did, right? Our ancestors made choices from worm tongue, from this frequency of fear. So this is not the one that you want to be listening to, right? Guiding you, because worm tongue's going to take you right off the cliff, right? That's where you're headed. So what do we need to do is, I talk about this in my videos, is we need to get into awareness, right? So that's this image from the Osho Zen deck here. Whoops. Right there, right? And that's what's trying to burn through for the Aquarian age, right? So this is you, this is the awareness, the silent witness, you could call it, the observer. It's called a lot of different names, higher self. That's the real you. And what it's burning through is shadow, right? These are shadow, false self, ego. And that is what wants to burn through for the Aquarian age. So the trap is not to let that awareness burn through, right? And stay in shadow, stay in false self, stay in ego, and then you're on that karmic wheel. And you're back on planet Earth again and again and again and again and again. So the only way to move out of ego is frequency, right? So this means to embody this awareness. That's your higher self, right? Your soul. And then the voice of worm tongue, very, very loud, right? I talked about this in my last video. Please watch that at the beginning if you haven't. Saturn in the Shadow of Reaction. So because I go through how it works, right? The mechanics of the ego and how reaction, emotional reaction works. So that voice gets really, really loud, right? And this is most of the people on the planet are under the spell of this ego, right? But it's not you at all, right? So that voice is really, really loud. There's no gap. This is the gap of awareness, and that's what we need. Right? Because when we're in that space, then we're able to see the ego. We're able to see our emotional patterns. We're able to see the triggers. We're able to see the traps. Oh, this is a trap, right? You're not just following like a robot, following the sheep like the lemmings, right? Heading off the cliff. Well, everybody else is doing it, so it must be right. It's like, no, you don't want to go there. This is the age of Aquarius. You have to have the courage to stand alone. Sometimes you have to stand alone as one community, until your tribe finds you, your fractal line, your soul allies find you. So this is what happens to worm tongue. He's squeaking, right? Look, squeak, squeak. Can barely hear him when you're in this space, if at all. So this is where you want to be. So it's all about taking responsibility for your own state of awareness, right? So this takes expansion. So how do we get to this state of awareness? Well, sometimes it will just spontaneously happen. You may have had that experience, depending on the energies on the planet at the time or what you're going through. Sometimes you'll just have like this spontaneous expansion of awareness, where you feel all connected and you feel like I belong. You're filled with love. Like mothers probably when they have their babies. I've heard that. Like when a mother looks at her child for the first time, or a father looks at his child for the first time, it will be this expansion of awareness. So this is why we need meditation, right? Because meditation puts us in the gap, right? So that we're able to have a relationship, right? When you're in this state, there's no relationship. You just think worm tongue is you. You're just channeling worm tongue all the time. But when you're in this state of awareness, expanded awareness, then you can see worm tongue, right? You can see the ego at play in all the tricks. You can see all the egos outside you, right? In the external world and all the tricks they're playing, the manipulation and the deception game. So meditation helps you with this. To get into this expanded state of awareness. Kundalini Yoga is actually, and I'm biased, right? Because it's my main tool is Kundalini Yoga meditation. And I love it only because it works, right? I don't like doing things that don't work or have no practical application. And it's a 5,000-year-old technology. And it's designed not for 5,000 years ago, but for right now. The time that we're in now is as we transition into this golden age, right? The great age of Aquarius. So it's called the Yoga of Awareness. The other thing is with awareness to remember, because that's the relationship with the mind, right? With meditation, but also emotional, right? Our emotional body, like I talk about, is being purified. We're going through a solar plexus mutation. We're evolving through our emotions. This brings us into an expanded state of awareness. And you may have experienced that when you've had a big cry, like you can't hold it back anymore. It's the big ugly cry, where you're sobbing and snot's coming out of your nose, and right? The big ugly with the capital U, ugly cry. Afterwards, you feel peaceful, right? You feel peaceful and you feel I'm more in my body. I feel at peace. There's warmth around my heart, right? My heart chakra. There's a whole physiological thing that happens to our bodies, right? When our awareness starts to expand. It feels good, right? It feels really, really good. So this also brings you into this expanded state of awareness as your emotional self, because some people can get into, well, I've got to regulate. You hear this with some New Age teachings. Well, I have to regulate how I'm feeling. I always have to be in a high emotional state, and I have to have my thoughts positive. Well, sometimes you can't get into that high emotional state because you're butting up against some old childhood trauma, some old stuck emotions from 0 to 7 years old. That's when the emotional body develops. Well, you just take that. It's don't make it wrong. Well, I'm sad and I'm depressed, or I'm angry. I should be feeling this. You don't go into like I should be feeling. It's like, oh, I just have to alchemize what's coming up. You've got to look at it as like everything is valid, right? All the emotions that are coming up are valid as long as you're not projecting onto someone else or listening to worm tongue, making up a story about the way that you're feeling, right? It's just like, oh, I have some work to do. I've got some depression and anger. What's that about? I need to stop, right? I need to feel myself. Do some long, deep breathing, do a meditation, do whatever you need to do to nurture yourself and create that safe space that you can feel those emotions. And then you will get up to that high emotional state. And sometimes it can take a while, right? You have to be really, really patient with your emotional state. It's just don't make your decisions from that place, right? At all. And if you know your human design type that I have in my recorded readings, it's going to show you how you're designed uniquely to make your decisions, right? That's what you want to obey. The other thing I wanted to say too before we get into the meditation, right? So this is a meditation to dilute the ego and get worm tongue really, really a squeaker, not even a squeaker, right? To expand, because this is you. Right? This is you, this awareness is out in the world. I'm noticing some things, right? Out in the world. I like to be on top of the news and politics and things like that, right? I like to know what they're up to, right? What tricks they're up to. And you have to watch, because we're such powerful creators as a humanity. Humans don't know the power that they have. We have the power to create. And the powers that be, they don't have that kind of power, right? All they can do is manipulate. And I talked about this in that video, right? Manipulation from a spiritual perspective. Is that if you believe it, if you believe what you're seeing with your two eyes, you're going to bring it, you're going to manifest it into existence. So if there's enough of humans on the planet that are doing that, then yes, it's going to manifest, right? So there's a story. You come into planet Earth with your own unique story, like your path, your spiritual path, what you're here to learn, right? I'm here to have these experiences. This is all decided before you come to planet Earth. Where I'm going to live, the experiences I'm going to have, the people that I'm going to meet, right? All of that's all coordinated for you, right? So you've got your own storyline. Well, the powers that be want to hijack your story and impose their story on top of it, which is not for your soul's journey. It's about trapping you, right? Keeping you in a low vibration. So you're reacting and from fear, and you're incurring more karma with people, and then you're back again on this crazy karmic cycle of life, death, rebirth, right? With these same karmic people. So we have to watch that, because it's really getting strong. That's what I can see, like these stories that are being imposed on us, and you are a co-creator. You need to know your power. So often I'll say things like, because you see this projection all the time, even with people in your life, because they're projecting their fear onto you. Well, what if this happened? What if your house burned down? You know, just stories like that. Like once I left my little stove on. No, I know what I was doing. I was cooking Bougie some chicken, right? So I just left it in the oven, in the little toaster oven that I have, right, on low, just on low. So it would be done when he got home. He doesn't like to wait for his food because he gets hungry. Anyway, I mentioned that to someone at the park, and right away it's like Mr. Fearmonger, this guy, starts imposing and project. Well, what if your house burned down? What if this happened? What if that happened? It's like, it's safe. It's all clean. There's no oil or anything like that, right? And I just said to him, I said, it's not my lesson. Do you know what I mean? Like, you need to do that. It's like, it's not my spiritual lesson, and to own that. No, that's not my spiritual lesson. Because as soon as you buy into someone else's story, right, you're going to probably manifest that down the road, right? If you believe, oh, if that could happen, this could happen, this could. And so many people are living in fear right now, and they're miscreating all of these stories. So you got to take authority. That word authority. Look at authority. It has author in it. It's like you have to become the author of your own story. Don't let somebody else write your story for you. You know, you're writing your own story with your beliefs, right? With your beliefs. So you got to get really, really clear. Where are these beliefs coming from? Are they coming from the external? Did I get this from my mother and my father? Did I get this from my ancestors? Do I get this from my partner or the people? Especially if you're surrounded by fraidy cats, like a bunch of fraidy cats are going to impose their fear too on you. So it's just about getting firm, right? This is about being your own authority. And it's not, right? Worm tongue wants you in fear and small and constricted. Because that's worm tongue moving through those people, trying to reach your worm tongue, right? So that you believe this. It's like, no, you've got to stay up here. You're great. We're here for self-mastery, you know, and this isn't from an ego point of view. We're here to realize just how powerful we are in this incarnation. So this is about keeping your consciousness, right? You're monitoring your consciousness, right? And your awareness, like looking at your dashboard. Where am I right now emotionally? Where am I with my mindset? This is walking the razor's edge. That's the spiritual path. And it's nothing to be afraid of. It's just, this is what it means to be a spiritual adult. You're responsible for your experience of reality, right? Of your life. So that's what I wanted to say with that. Don't get trapped, right? There's so many traps. And I really feel we're going to see some big ones coming up, especially for the fall. It's already, July 5th now. Okay. So let's go into... I just want to look at some comments because I like to see what you guys are writing. Satnam, Tammy, Massachusetts, corrupt. Yeah, the Broken Heart meditation's great. That's on my website. People want to practice that. Satnam, Robert, Bradley. C.A. Patterson, Washington State, Jamie, Bradley, you're a Cancer, right? When we're in Cancer season too. Cancer's all about the emotions. Yeah, honor thy emotions. Yeah. Big cries. This is part of our healing. It's having the big cries. Okay. Okay, great. Yeah, self-sovereignty. I love that name. Being your own sovereign. Okay. So what I want to do first is tune in, because we're going to do a Kundalini Yoga meditation. And I love this one. Okay, where am I here? I think. Oh, I was so proud of myself. I learned a trick and it's not working. Okay. a second. Okay. There we go. Okay. So this is for diluting the ego, so making worm tongue really, really small. And as long as we're going to be in that state of awareness, this is where I always go. It's like, well, we might as well do some work, right? Some spiritual work if we're going to be there in a state of awareness, because that's really where we can do healing, right? We can only really do healing from this position, right? When we become more vast than the ego, we can't really heal from this place at all, right? It's ego trying to heal ego. It doesn't work. We've got to go high, right? And that's to go to that expanded state of awareness. So the first thing for people that don't know much about Kundalini Yoga meditation, we tune in with the mantra. This is called the Adi mantra. Om, Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. So basically this is attuning yourself to the lineage, like the 5,000-year-old lineage of Kundalini Yoga meditation, like the roots go deep, deep, deep. But it's also calling upon your own inner teacher. So everything that you need is already inside you. So guru, that word guru, means to take you from the darkness of the ego into the light of awareness, right? So this is what you're calling on. We all have our own inner teacher within, and this is what we have to start listening to, not worm tongue. So this aligns you with your own inner teacher, Om Namo Gurudev Namo. So we do that 3 times. Okay, so don't worry about the words. I'll chant it, and it's about just being longing to be with your soul and your higher self, right? So bring your hands into prayer pose. So you bring in your hands together. This brings balance to the brain, the left and right, right? Balance neutralizes you. Okay, and just rub your palms. And feel the heat between your hands, and bring your hands into prayer pose at your heart center. And so eyes are closed. And just take a moment to feel your feet on the ground. If you're sitting in a chair, you're in your sitting bones. And take some long, deep breaths through your nostrils. And relax your belly. Relax your shoulders and your neck muscles. Relax your temples. And just setting your intention to receive and be receptive to your own inner teacher. And inhale deeply. Exhale. Inhale to the base of the spine. Exhale. And inhale to tune in. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. And inhale deeply. Suspend the breath. Press your palms together and bring your focus to your third eye, the point between your brows, and channel the energy up. And exhale and relax your hands down. Okay. Get this off here. Okay. So this is to dilute the ego. Make little worm tongue, little squeaky mosquito. Okay? So you're going to bring your fingers together and make a teepee. So your thumbs touch and your fingers are slightly spread apart. And you'll bring that to your heart center. If you can see me there, right? Bring that to your heart center. And it's pointing at a 45-degree angle. Okay? So spine straight, right? And your eyes are closed, but you're imagining your eyes are turned upward and you're looking out through the crown. So looking out through the top of your head, your crown chakra, the whole time. And so as you inhale through the nostrils, you're going to imagine the energy, cosmic energy, coming down through your crown chakra. And then you're going to exhale through tightened throat, right? And I talked about this before, the tightened throat. That's like the death breath. And that's when ego, worm tongue, it's like you're tricking him, right? It's like, oh, she's dying, he's dying. So I'm off. I got to find another host, right? Because the ego is the parasite, basically. Okay, so inhaling through the nostrils slowly and imagining the cosmic energy coming down through the crown, and then exhaling through the tightened throat. So the tightened throat sounds like this. We'll do the whole breath, okay? So it's... like that. So you don't want to put too much strain on your throat. And we'll see. Okay. And we'll do it all together there. So remember, we're all connected, right? We're all one. We don't have to be in this. Even the people that are watching in the future now moment. Okay? Okay, so get relaxed. Nice straight spine. And begin. Keep your focus. And inhale deeply. Suspend the breath and bring all your focus and awareness to the top of your head, your crown chakra. And exhale through the nostrils. Again, inhale deeply. And bring all your focus and awareness to your crown chakra. And then exhale. And one last time, inhale deep. Bring all your focus and awareness to your crown chakra. And exhale. And slowly relax your hands down. And your eyes are closed. And just be with yourself for a moment. And giving yourself permission to expand. Just get out of your own way. Letting go of attachments. Now take a moment to think of someone in your awareness that you're having challenges with, either now or in the past. Someone that's harmed you. Someone that you've run over, situations and conversations that you just can't seem to get beyond. Now imagine that person in front of you, sitting at a table. Now you're going to forgive them. We're going to go through a forgiveness exercise. And don't let the ego get in there and stop this, because this is a soul trap. Are these people that keep us connected and incarnating with over and over and over again. Now this person has played your shadow for you so that you could learn and evolve through a soul lesson, a valuable soul lesson. So I want you to look at them and do your best with this and say to them, I'm sorry. Please forgive me that you had to play my shadow for me so that I could learn these lessons. And thank you for playing my shadow. And I love you, and I release you from all karma. So again, say, I'm sorry. Please forgive me for you having to play my shadow for me so that I could learn these valuable lessons and grow as a soul. Thank you for playing my shadow for me. And I love you, and I now release you. I no longer need you to play this role for me. And again, I'm sorry, please forgive me that you had to play my shadow for me so that I could learn these valuable soul lessons. Thank you for playing this role for me, and I love you, and I release you. I no longer need you to play this role for me. And feel this is blessed by the divine. This forgiveness is coming from the divine through you. And feel that this contract is null and void now. And now begin to forgive yourself for this experience that you've had with this challenging person. That you did your best with the consciousness you had. That you're not to blame. And this has just been a part of your human experience, and to learn and grow as a soul. And now bring into your awareness any guilt that you have for harming, either indirectly or directly, consciously or unconsciously, another person in this lifetime. Something you can't get over. You run the conversations over in your head, run the actions over in your head, can't seem to let it go. And imagine that person in front of you, and you ask them for forgiveness. Please forgive me. For any harm that I've done to you, either consciously or unconsciously. And feel the divine working through that other person and forgiving you. And releasing you from that guilt. And sincerely want forgiveness. Like, feel that in your heart. I sincerely feel guilty for what I've done, either consciously or unconsciously. And feel that divine gift of forgiveness moving through the two of you. And again, sincerely ask for forgiveness. Please forgive me for any wrongdoing that I've done consciously or unconsciously. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And feel that gift of forgiveness and love moving through the two of you, so that you can start afresh, a new chapter in your relationship. And now take a moment to forgive your ancestors for all the choices they made from fear. The long line of your ancestors that you are now a product of, and holding that wound, that ancestral wound for them, whatever that is for you. And just forgive your ancestors. And feel them returning that gift to you. Right? That I'm sorry that you have to hold this for our ancestral line. Feel that energy coming towards you. Future generations too. Your future generations and your past generations. And imagine your ancestral line a timeline. So you can see it as a line of light, and sending that energy of forgiveness down through the timeline, your ancestral timeline, right to the beginning of the source of that wound. And take a moment to forgive your old self this old self that's dying. So this new self, the new phoenix from the flames, can be born. Your new self, your expanded self, without worm tongue, without the ego. This new self that's being born for the Aquarian age. Forgive your old self. That you did the best with what you had, with the consciousness you had. And whatever energy you're holding in your body, give it to the divine, right? All the guilt, all the shame, the fear, give all that to the divine. We have to rely on our higher self now, not the ego. Now as a group, let's send a prayer out to the world. Just from your heart. Send this energy of forgiveness to the world. That the world has to play these shadows for us so that we can learn as souls. And just a prayer that people remember who they really are. They awaken to their true nature. And start making choices from love and not fear. And inhale deeply. Suspend the breath. And exhale. Great. So this is a good meditation to continue practicing. I'm going to leave it on the YouTube channel. And we'll just close. Okay. Okay. So bring your palms together and rub them. And we'll close with one long Sat Nam, Sat Nam. Sat Nam means truth is my identity. Okay, so it's you're vibrating it. You're vibrating Sat Nam, that you are truth, right? That's who you are, the capital T truth, authentic and real. Sat Nam means like whatever's going on inside is a reflection of me on the outside. Sat Nam, you're in integrity. Okay, so rub your palms together and bring your hands into prayer pose with a nice straight spine. And inhale deeply. Exhale. Inhale to the base of the spine. Exhale. And inhale to close. Sat Nam. Sat Nam, everybody. Have a good day, evening, wherever you are in the world. I'll see you soon.